Gabby, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really psyched to have you on. I feel like we've been in similar circles for so long. Now we're here, so psyched about it.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too. I
Awesome.
was so happy when you hit me up. I was like, yeah, finally,
Oh,
we
that
can
makes me so
talk.
glad. Well, something else I know you're kind of still riding the wave of and that you must be really psyched on. You've been waiting on something for about 7 years, and that's being ranked in the official PWI Women's 250. So run me through
Yeah,
the excitement of making it in there because you seemed absolutely elated.
yeah, I was so stoked. It was just very validating, honestly, because I honestly, I don't think the PWI, it used to be 150 and they recently changed it to 250. Um, what the women's one didn't even exist when I first started.
Mhm.
So the first year they did it, I was like, oh, I'm a shoo-in. I've been doing this. I'm great. And then I wasn't ranked. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I get it. There's a lot of great women out there. And then it happened again. And then I think again, I was like, okay, this is getting I'm a little frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. I was super excited for everyone that got ranked. And then when women
Of
started getting
course.
ranked on like the 500, it was really exciting. So it's just when I got ranked, I was like, oh, fine, this is really cool. I'm really excited about this. So it was actually so weird because I was gearing up for like my yearly temper tantrum that I have with myself.
You were waiting to open it up, not see it, and then just have
Yeah,
those inner frustrations and demons come right through.
yeah. And then I did. I was like, oh, this is different.
Wow. Well, you better get used to the feeling because with the way that
Yeah.
you've been working and promoting, I'm sure that we'll be seeing that name appear quite a bit.
Oh, thanks. I hope so.
Well, I watched so many interviews heading into this conversation, and they're, of course, all going to be pretty damn wrestling heavy. All of that's out there, and you just seem so fun. So, I've got some interesting stuff lined up for you today outside of only wrestling because you've got layers. That's one thing I noticed. I was like stalking your Instagram, your Twitter, everything. Like, she posted a lot of random things. So, I'm excited to decipher
I
all of it.
do. I do. I honestly like I've looked at your work for a while now, but like I know that you interviewed my favorite band before,
Are
right?
we talking
Didn't you?
about Fall Out Boy?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
I was like,
Oh my
no
gosh.
way.
Well, okay, I was gonna save a little bit of the music chatter for later because I knew we'd
Let's
bond
just do
over it.
it.
We're just going into it right now, and I'm
All
here
right,
for it.
cool.
So I couldn't help but notice you're quoting everything from Fall Out Boy to Limp Bizkit, mentioning the one and only Freddie D. So who are some other bands you're absolutely loving right now before we go full blown emo?
Right at the moment. So I've been honestly like my Spotify Wrapped. Well, the only new thing you're really gonna see is Fall Out Boy's new record. But I've just been
Wow,
like going back into my archives of like a lot of 90s music, Alanis Morissette, not even nine. This
Canadian
is the
Queen.
90s. Oh yeah, she's great. Envy on the Coast has been a big one that I've been listening to. It's super emo. Taylor Dane, a pop star from the 80s who I really
Yeah.
enjoy. George Michael, another pop star from the 80s and 90s. Um, and then because like all like the news right now is Britney Timberlake, I've been doing a lot of Britney and in sync as well.
Did you end up watching
Yeah,
the
so
Wham doc?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting for a time so me and my dad can watch it together. But it looks very juicy. It looks good.
It's so good. You're a better daughter than I am because my dad, I swear, is probably one of the biggest George Michael fans on this planet.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even wait for him. So I watched it twice. I watched it alone
Uh,
and then I watched it with him. So I love that you're waiting to watch it with your father too. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I took him to see this really limited release George Michael documentary for his birthday last year. And it was really good. And it was like in a small like indie theater. And they played Freedom 90, the music video first. And then he was like, was that it? That was cool. We can go now, right? I was like, no, we're not just watching the music video. It's a whole movie.
Wow.
Yeah. So but yeah, and then a cool band that I've recently started listening to is Citizen. Really good band.
Really good
They're
band.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
think I
Yeah.
first met them maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I've done a couple interviews with them. And the more you progress through their discography, somehow the better they become, which is usually
Yeah.
reverse for bands. So cool you're on that train.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
Well, clearly we love a lot of the same musicians, and I have
Yeah.
since I was a teenager. I had the scene bangs, was wearing band tees all of the time. So were you
Oh.
full blown an emo kid growing up as well? Did you go through it? You
Oh
did.
my God, yeah. Did I go through it? I'm still going through it.
You never go through. I'm gonna be an elder emo. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I had the side bang. I had all like the stud belts, band tees, skinny jeans. I mean, all types of hair dye, bleach in my bathroom. I was doing all that stuff.
Wow.
Raccoon eyes, yeah, all of it.
And how many times have you seen Fall Out Boy at this point?
Has to be like over 20 at this point.
Whoa, that's
Yeah, yeah.
intense.
Because
Okay.
I try to go multiple dates of a tour. The only time I went to one date on tour was when they did a Hella Mega tour with Green Day and Weezer because they canceled a bunch of dates for COVID. So I was
Right.
able to go to one. But normally like I'll try to hit a few spots when they're in town. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I
I
love them.
remember seeing them probably 6 years ago. It was definitely pre-COVID, and
Yeah.
it just filled my heart with so much joy because you don't realize how many of the songs you know, and I'm definitely not as hardcore into them as you are, but it was just like recollection after recollection and reminiscing, and it just
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's just an era we're never gonna forget. I'm so glad we both grew
Oh
up
no,
on.
it's so fun. Me too. I'm it's so funny because like I'll be on TikTok now and I'm seeing like kids who are just discovering bands like Fall Out Boy, MCR, Paramore, and they're like, "Oh my God, I wish I grew up in 2007." I'm like, "Oh God." They're like reminiscing about how I reminisced about the 70s when I was
Yeah,
a
it's
kid.
weird, right?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, makes me feel very old. Because what you
me
just
too.
turned 29, I'm 28, and so when I see kids posting about that, I go, "Holy shit, am I really this old?" Because it always happens. Like, Welcome to the Black I think it was Welcome to the Black Parade just had its 17th anniversary, which is crazy. So, I know.
Yikes. Yikes.
That's the best word to use, yikes. But, um, other than music, we need to also get into another love of yours, which is baseball, because you not only rep the Phillies, yet you also, as we see, do tons of live tweets during their games. It just seems like you have such an admiration for it. So how long
Yeah,
have you been a baseball fan for?
my whole life.
Really?
Really my whole life. Yeah, because my dad's a huge baseball fan. I'm very close to my dad if that wasn't evident by like me talking about him. But yeah, I mean, almost everything I like, except for maybe Fall Out Boy and like emo music, was something he showed me because like it's just like I look up to him so much. But yeah, I would always sit and watch baseball with him, even when I didn't understand what was going on. I'd say in like 2006, 7 is when they got really good in my lifetime, and eventually into 2008, where they won the World Series, is when I really, really honed in on the team and baseball in general and learning about it and knowing, you know, what to expect in the next pitch or what play they could do to get out of an inning or, you know, what have you. Happened in like 2006 to 8. They got not great in like 2011, 10, 11, up until kind of like now, like last year. They just
Really?
weren't like, they really weren't, you know, they were slower years, tons of fun. They were making the playoffs here and there, but like, um, I'd still watch, I'd still go to games. It's like, you got it. You can't just
You
be a
gotta
fair
support
weather friend,
when
you
you want.
know?
That's exactly it. When they win,
Yeah.
you can't just be the one cheering and it's convenient. Like if you're in it, you're there when they're sucking.
Yeah, you have to be. And when they suck, the tickets are really cheap, and that's awesome. Because right now, like I'm not gonna get into how much I paid for these, but like I went to a playoff game last week and
Yeah,
I spent some money. But
I'm
it was like
sure.
I got a decent deal because it was a friend of mine who gave me the tickets, but
Yeah, you have
geez.
to make a day of it too, because then you're paying for the
Yeah.
ticket, then you're gonna get hot dogs. The next thing you know, 2 hours later, you're still hungry and the game's going, and like it's this
Oh
giant
yeah.
tally of stuff. So I don't blame you though; it's so worth
It's so so
it.
worth it.
Being a Phillies fan, couldn't help but notice all of the "It's Always Sunny in Philly" little memes and posts and
Yeah.
references. And for me, I'm not huge into baseball, but I love that show. Like I love it to
Yeah.
bits. It's one of my favorites. So, are you on board with the show, or more so just all of the references and admiration they have for the
Oh,
game?
I love the show. I
Virtual high
love
five.
the
I'm so
show.
proud of you. I'm so happy.
I love the show. My first legal drink was at Rob McElhenney's bar here in Philly.
Really?
Like I need
That's
like
cool.
I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, I need to have my first legal drink at Max Tavern in Old City. And we went, it was early in the day, so not much was going on, but it was so cool because they had pictures of like the cast and like iconic scenes, and they have like a note from Rob in there. It's really, really cool.
Love
I
that.
love that show.
I feel like that goes hand in hand with a lot of the other things that you dig, as you are a self-coined silly bitch. You're outspoken, you say goofy stuff, and just overall, you come off just very happy. And I feel like that all
Yeah.
goes hand in hand with being a fellow silly bitch. So what would you say are some of the silliest things about yourself?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. I wake up and I'm just like, it's time to be a silly bitch today. I don't know. I just like I don't take I try not to take things anything too seriously because I think like I'm gonna bring up wrestling for example. When I had my WWE tryout, I took that so seriously.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I ever took I didn't take any type of like test, college, nothing as seriously as I took that tryout. And obviously I didn't get signed. And it was a big lesson of like, this is professional wrestling. It's silly and it's in nature, you know, like what we do. And you can of course you should take it seriously because it's very dangerous, but like in terms of just how you carry yourself, like there's this balance I like of being charismatic and also like relatable and silly. It's still professional and also bringing in that star power too because you have to.
Yeah.
And I was 22 with that tryout, and I just like didn't bring in the silliness and the lightheartedness that I try to bring into everything in my life. And I think things might have gone a little differently. So it was a big lesson. And like whenever I meet people, like I'm in rooms because of my real job with in politics with like lawmakers and people that judges, people that normally you should kind of like be like shaking in your boots when you meet. And like
Right.
I'm not. I can't
Mhm.
be. Like I have to be someone that they know they can come to who will be confidential and make them feel comfortable. And I try to do that in every aspect in my life. And I hope I can. And just being a silly bitch is a part of that because it's like you have to be. So like I know there's this labor union leader who is like this he's like a scary guy. He's basically a mob boss. And
Oh,
he comes into my office. He's like, he's not basically, that's, I'm not going to say his name, but people are terrified of this guy. Something had just come out where he beat up a dude in a bar. It was in the news. And
okay.
I was like, and I see him and I'm like, hey, dude, you're not here to beat me up, right? And then he looks at me like he's going to kill me. And
I
then he
love that.
laughs and he's like, oh, okay. Happened with Eddie Kingston backstage at AEW. People were terrified of that guy. Not me. You
It was
gotta
the
like
same when
give
I
it.
first met Eddie. We would just like have this really fun
Yeah.
like brother sister banter back and forth. And like if he
Yeah.
gives it, you give it back. And it's I don't know. I feel like people find that endearing because don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, also being nervous and that energy can be endearing too. But for me, I was that way when I first got into wrestling, and I
Yeah.
would shake in my boots meeting people, and I thought, oh, do I really show them my true self? What if they don't like it? What if I'm too goofy or whatever it might be? And then you just realize it's not fun not being yourself all the time, and you just start to get
Yeah.
over it and then really just not even put it on. You're just
Yeah.
you. And that is the
Yeah.
best feeling.
It really is. It makes things a lot more comfortable too,
Right.
going to shows and like, yeah. So yeah,
I
being a
love
silly
that.
bitch, man, it helps.
Be a silly
Helps with the
bitch.
nerves.
Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you about today is something I caught on to while doing my research, because as much as I have started to enjoy really just counting calories and eating clean, I do love a good fast food run once in a while. So you've posted about Wendy's, Pizza Hut, a few others. So to you, what is the ultimate fast food joint?
That's hard. That is a hard question. Cause like I'm like I like Arby's. Like I'm a monster. Um, but no, Wendy's is my favorite fast food place, definitely.
Okay.
I like a good spicy chicken nugget with some barbecue sauce, a ton of fries, and a crispy Sprite. But I also really enjoy Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich too. I
Popeye's
can
chicken
just
is
get that.
fucking awesome.
Yes, I can just get that a la carte and like be happy for like 3 days. So
Love it. I can feel it in your voice, the tonality changing when you like start to daydream about food as you're talking about it.
yeah, yeah, I haven't eaten today, so I should probably get on that.
Maybe you'll go to one of those aforementioned places. Who knows? Well, with that being said, I will let you go grab a bite to eat. I do expect you to let me know what you got because now I have
I
high
will.
standards. And I want
I
to say
will.
thank you so much, Gabby, for taking the time for coming on. Very glad we got to finally do this.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. It was really good to talk to you.
Same with you. To everyone watching, be sure to hit up aliciatout.com for plenty more exclusive interviews and features, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.